Hi, this is Joe again with another review. And for the start of this video, I want to do uh, a review of a series of specials that aired in the late 70s and early 80s called the Puff the Magic Dragon um, specials. And of course, you can also see all three of these shows on YouTube. I just recently watched them, and I used to watch them on when they originally aired on television on CBS television. And I figured, hey, since I got really acquainted with these shows, I figured, what the hell, do a review on them. And I'm going to try and get through all three of these reviews. Three of these specials in one video. These are going to try to. Of course, like I said before, the Puff the Magic Dragon specials aired from or the original one in 1978, and the last one came out in 1982, or originally in 1982 over on CBS. And yes, these specials, or these three shows, were based, of course, on the famous song by Peter, Paul, and Mary of the same title, written by Peter Yellow, who was a member of the group. And of course, over the years, a lot of the conspiracy nuts say that the song is actually based on smoking marijuana. Um, because if you listen to, I'm sure there are a bunch of videos with the song in it, with Peter, Paul, and Mary performing it, and the videos with just the lyrics on your computer screens. And if you hear the lyrics, you see the normal Jackie Papers when he's all bummed out over it, or too stoned, or whatever, of the dragon. But Peter Yellow has always denying that it is based on marijuana, and it's just a children's song, he wrote. Well, years later, CBS came to him and said, hey, let's do a special on the song. This is a children's, quote unquote, children's song. Let's make a children's animated special on. And Peter says, yeah, sure, I do it. And we're allowed to use the song, and of course he performs the song on the air, in the special, and he wrote a couple of new songs for the special itself. And like I said, the first one aired in 1978, and which is just called Puff the Magic Dragon. And it is more closely to the song than the other two specials are, which I will eventually going to get to in this review. Uh, the first special, like I said, made the same name, made in 1978, and it's about Puff, who is actually a dragon, a magical dragon, and it was voiced by Burgess Meredith, who just come off an Oscar-nominated performance in the original Rocky film. So this was like 2 years after that, and he was the voice of Puff, and he tries to help this boy named Jackie Draper, because in the song it's Jackie Paper in the song. And he's trying to help this little boy who doesn't communicate at all. He just sits in his chair with his head down, almost like this, with his head down. And his parents take him to all kinds of doctors, and the doctors don't know what's wrong with this kid. And he says that he should be communicating, he should be talking. And I'm sure that nowadays this kid would have been, if that show was made in 2015 instead of in 1978. I'm sure this kid would probably be diagnosed having autism, being autistic or something. But in 1978, he wasn't diagnosed with it, and he was just doctor said no one was, and then and so he just doesn't communicate. So Puff decides to help this kid out, who I can't communicate. So what Puff does, he comes to, after all the doctors leave and his parents leave, he comes into the house. Comes to Jackie's bedroom, draws a card, makes a drawing of the kid, and pulls like a soul out of his ear, and then puts the soul into the paper drawing. And so this is Jackie Paper, a play on this kid's name. Now all of a sudden the paper drawing comes to life, and he has a personality. He talks, he communicates, he dances, he sings and dances with Puff and all this other stuff. And Puff suggests, okay, I'm going to take you to my home. And Jackie says, oh, what's your home? He says, oh, my home is this place called Hanoi. And I'm going to take you there. As soon as we get there, we'll immediately take you home. And he says, what for? And he says, well, because to overcome your fears. Because he realized how come you're in this condition. And he says, well, because I'm afraid. He said, what are you afraid of? I said, well, the kid was pretty much afraid of the world, really. And so Pope says, okay, you're going to help you overcome your fears. We're going on this quest with me to Honolulu. And of course, the place where Puff's supposed to live, in the song. So of course, they do go on this quest, and on the way to Honolulu, they run into this pirate who actually was a chef, in disguise, and the kid Jackie Paper comes out to go overcome his fear against this huge pirate. It was huge, bigger than anybody, and says, "Hey, this is you actually was a chef. I dare you to make a pie, or a blueberry pie." I said, "Oh, I could cook a pie better than anybody." And of course, he comes out stop being an evil pirate and decides to become a chef for the rest of his life. That's one little side adventure on this quest on this voyage to Hanoi. And then they have this falling star, go back into the sky. And then after that, then they finally get to Hanoi. After about almost like 15 minutes into the special, you finally gets to Hanoi. And what happened was the Hanoi is pretty much destroyed. And Puff's really wonder, what happened? What happened to my home? And then realize this little pink characters called sneezes. They're like little pink noses who sneeze all the time and suffer and they have colds and they sound just as good as I do right now. With my terrific voice. And they said, hey, this is our home. No, it's not, it's my home. And they had this little fight. And of course, the sneezes pretty much took over and they destroyed what a beautiful land Honolulu is supposed to be. And of course, now all of a sudden, throughout the whole episode, Jackie was afraid of everything. Now Puff is afraid of everything. And he says, Raymond, all of a sudden, you're afraid now. You don't want to tell me to be brave, and now I have to tell you to be brave. This is ridiculous. And even Jackie says, and they even bring this up in the special. When Jackie goes, this is ridiculous. There's going to be dragons with their magic and all this stuff. And Puff says, look, because my Pally is my magic, and now it's spoiled because of the sneezes. And so Puff says to Jackie, why don't you just take the boat and go home? Pretty much kicked him out. So he goes home. Supposed to go home, and about 2 minutes later, he brings the chef that he met earlier in the show. He fed everybody chicken soup, or he sprayed chicken soup all over the island. Apparently, cures the sneezes of their problems, their health problems, and restored Honolulu to where it was before. And of course, after when that happens, they had like a big musical number. When that happens, of course, Puff transports, like a blink of an eye, transports Jackie back to his home and put his soul back in Jackie Paper's soul back into the soul of Jackie Draper. And of course, now all of a sudden he can now communicate now. He can talk, he can communicate with his parents, tell his parents where his deal is. And that's pretty much how the special ends. The first special. Which is a pretty, decent special. It is kind of downtrodden, especially when it gets to the end of the thing. Especially what Jackie Draper's problem actually was. He doesn't really explain it. Uh, like I said earlier, he probably will be diagnosed with autism today. The doctors won't do anything, or there's no magical dragon's gonna help him out, and all that stuff. Well, after that special, like but 2 years later, there was a second special. And the second show was called Puff the Magic Dragon and the Land of the Living Lies. Now this time, instead of a little boy that Puff was trying to help out, now this time it was going to be a little girl. And this girl tells lie after lie after lie after lie. Anything that came out of her mouth was a lie. So Puff trying to help her out, trying to stop this kid from fibbing all the time. So what he does is it takes it down below, almost like into hell almost. And because that's literally where they go. They go down uh, into this big hole after an earthquake. Goes down this hole, and here's the land of the living lies. And you meet some of the most famous liars. And most of them are fictional liars. Uh, in this land, of course, the most famous liar, the man is Pinocchio, with his nose glowing. And they actually meet him. I wonder how Disney feels about that they use Pinocchio in this special. Uh, anyway, he tries to uh, make up more lies. So anyway, that's the truth. It's okay, and then she makes up a lie on top of that, and of course she gets put on trial. And says, "Oh, I didn't do all this thing. Puff did all this stuff." And she blames Puff for everything. And so of course Puff gets locked up. And the president says, "Oh, what am I going to do?" And she decides to go say goodbye to Puff before she goes back to where she lives. And Puff says, "How come you say all these lies for?" Because Puff is trying to be like a child psychologist in a way in these specials. And she says, "Because I'm afraid that it's my fault. It's your fault for putting me in this situation." Well, yeah, but the situation with my parents. It's my fault that my parents split up. And Puff says, "You're actually lying to yourself now." And because all the other liars in this land of lies are all laughing, why are they laughing for? And so I'm telling the truth. And Puff says, "No, you're actually lying to yourself. It's not your fault." Things like these do happen. Parents do break up. Parents do get divorces. But the one thing they do have in common is the love for you. And all that stuff. So, so it says, no, you're right, because my parents do care for me, even though they split up. See, and Puff says, "See, it's not really your fault. It's their own fault." And so, of course, that's when the kids stopped lying after that. And of course, the kid finally does admit to her mother and eventually to her father. Says, "Look, I'm sorry I'm making up all these lies. Because I felt that was my fault that you're not together anymore. That we're not together as a family. That's why I'm making up all these lies." And finally mentions to the parents why she's making up all these lies. But the third special that came out in 1982 was called uh, Puff the Magic Dragon and the Incredible Mr. Nobody. Now there's another special that pretty much ends childhood, like the radio special did. This time it was about an invisible friend. This little boy was an invisible friend called Nobody. I did, and he says every time when the kid would do well on a test or do well on a school report or whatever, he said, and the teacher would start to give the kid praise. Say, "Oh, you did really terrific work. Who did?" Thinking maybe the kid's parents might have helped him out. He says, "Oh no, nobody helped me." He goes, "Nobody helped me. Nobody helped me." And think, and the kid actually comes out with an imaginary friend called Mr. Nobody, and he actually was a duck who wears overalls and a saucepan, backwards on his head. And of course, eventually Puff comes out with creates an actual physical Mr. Nobody. And of course, eventually Mr. Nobody uh, leaves, leaves him. So what the kid decides to do is that I need nobody, otherwise I'm not going to be able to do well in school or play in the recital, this piano recital or whatever. And Miss Nobody is the one who helps me. My parents don't help me, my teachers don't help me, nobody helps me. Because without nobody, this kid wasn't pulling the pun, nobody. Without nobody. So Puff says, okay, I'm going to help you find Mr. Nobody. And eventually they find him, and they see a whole bunch of ducks swimming around this little pond, and all of them look exactly like Mr. Nobody. So the kid says, how do I know which one of these is the real Mr. Nobody? And he says, here, look through my puff ring. And, like the magical puff ring, which Puff does throughout the whole show. He throws a puff of smoke in the air, and you look through it like a magic window, and you see what the truth really is. And he saw that the one Mr. Nobody looks exactly like him. And Mr. Nobody, when he looked through the magic ring, and saw me. That means I'm you and you me. I'm going to be inside you all the time. That's the moral of the invisible friend thing. That any imaginary friend that we used to have when we were little kids, they're all inside us. And vice versa. And so eventually, of course, the kid eventually gives up Mr. Nobody. And Mr. Nobody and Puff says, hey, kind of like that. Well, since I live in a magical land, and of course, invisible people are magical, or kids magic, Mr. Nobody could live with me in Honolulu. I'm thinking, okay, great. So that's what happens at the end. When Mr. Nobody decides to live with Puff and Holly at the end of the show. And then, of course, in the end, also at the end of the show, the kid does do his recital and does it on his own without nobody's help, or Mr. Nobody's help. And of course, that's more or less thing you all have to grow up and give up your imaginary friends and all that stuff. Uh, I also feel like you do put a lot of child psychology into these three shows, but the three shows are still, still work. They're still entertaining and they still have good stories, even though I felt the kind of downline and kind of say ruin the fantasy of children a little bit in these three shows. Trying to give up, and they don't give up lessons saying, hey, you have to give up your imaginary friend, or you have to, grow up sometime and all this stuff. Um, but for the three shows that I had, they're all still three pretty good. I don't know if they're on DVD or Blu-ray, probably DVD, not Blu-ray. But all the three shows all on YouTube. So you can check them out. You can check them out completely. You can check them out. I think most people are more familiar with the original specials than the other two, because the other two got very few viewings. Mainly the original one got the more viewings because actually it's more based on the original song. The original one is got more for cult following. But the only thing that's consistent in the three shows, like I said earlier, that Burgess Meredith, Penguin and the original Batman shows, Mickey in the Rocky movies, was the voice of Puff the Magic Dragon in all three films. Of course, the only other voice or cartoon work that I'm aware of that Burgess Meredith did was, of course, playing Galapagos in the G.I. Joe movie, which took place which came out 5 years after the last Puff the Magic Dragon show. But you can tell it's Burgess Meredith in all three shows because he has a recognizable voice, and he did a great job of finding Puff, the voice of Puff, in all three shows. Plus, you also constantly hear Peter Yellow's voice singing songs throughout the whole three shows. So I recommend you guys check it out if you never checked them out on YouTube, which is of course Puff the Magic Dragon, Puff the Magic Dragon, and Land of the Living Lies, and Puff the Magic Dragon, the and the Incredible Mr. Nobody. So that's my review of the Puff the Magic Dragon uh, specials. Please click on the video. Please rate it. Feel free to comment. Please subscribe to my channel and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. Also, you can check out all of my videos not only on my YouTube channel, but also you can go to rowdyc.com. That's ROWDY, C.com. There's a home website of the Rowdy Reviewer. Please check them out. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.